Welcome to Unshackled, a podcast for ambitious strivers who know that our lives and our time here are precious. We overcome the habits that bind us and boldly go after our dreams. I'm your host, Becca, and I've overcome my addictions and reinvented myself more than once, and I know how to help you do the same. If you're ready to up your game by ridding yourself of useless addictions, if you're ready to unshackle yourself, then you've come to the right place. Let's get to it. Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining me. We are on day 5 of the 10-day countdown of the 10 most common obstacles to happy, don't forget the word happy, alcohol-free living. Day 5, and we are talking about guilt. Yesterday, I left off talking about shame by saying that it serves no useful purpose. That shame is just simply an obstacle. It doesn't help us gain anything. Guilt, on the other hand, can serve a purpose, and it also differs from shame in that we feel shame about something that we've done to feel bad about. But guilt is broader than that. So we might feel guilty for something we've done, or we might feel guilty for something we haven't done. We might say, oh, I was going to go to the gym 3 times this week and I didn't go. Guilt, right? So we never feel shame over something like that. I didn't go to the gym. Shame, shame, I feel shame. No, we don't. We feel guilt. So how does guilt serve a purpose? It's very simple, very straightforward. It helps us to correct our own behavior. If we didn't feel bad, momentary, this is not something we don't want to carry it around. But if we didn't feel bad for doing things that, hurt ourselves or others, then we'd just keep doing it. I think that would make us what? A sociopath, a psychopath, right? Narcissist? Who knows? One of those. So what we want to do is when we feel guilt, go, oh, that doesn't feel good. I'm not doing that again. I don't like the way that feels. That's the purpose of guilt, right? That's why we have it. Now, it can be totally abused to the max, and it can send us down pathways that'll leave us in, substance abuse for one, but also anxiety and depression and other things, including, feeling self-disgust, right? So when we take guilt and allow it to go over the top, then we're abusing it. So we don't want to do that. I am, again, as I mentioned yesterday, shame was huge on my list of amazing things I held on to for 30 years. And so was guilt. And I did not use it the way it was supposed to be used because, I would drink my face off, feel guilty about it, and then drink my face off again. So it didn't help. You know what? Once we've got an addiction, guilt's not really going to help much at all, right? We've got an addiction. Guilt is not going to work. So if you've ever tried to make someone feel guilty for their drinking, trust me, it doesn't work. More likely, if you're listening to this, you've had people in your life try to make you feel guilty for drinking, and it doesn't work. Now, we may feel guilt about our kids or our grandkids or our partners. We may feel it. We may think, man, I'm drinking too much and I know it's hurting them. And that can help us, right, if we listen to that voice. But having someone else throw it at us never works. We know that. We know as drinkers that we've got to make a decision on our own to give this up. Others can't do it for us. But back to guilt. Okay, so the thing about guilt is don't grab onto it and run around with it in your pocket and use it to beat yourself up with. Don't frame it and put it on the mantle and bow down to it every day. Don't allow it. We don't want to allow it to end up reflecting on our own, on how we actually see ourselves as a person who's done shameful, embarrassing things. We just look at it and go, oh, wait, that didn't feel good. I'm not going to do that, right? We have to be very careful not to overdo it and let it take control of us. And really, that's the only time that it's a problem. Otherwise, we just go, oops, I'm not going to do that. So don't carry guilt around and use it on yourself. And never, never try and guilt other people, especially your children. Boy, we know that doesn't work. So guilt is not a weapon to be used against ourselves or others. If you feel guilty about everything, if you're constantly walking around feeling guilty about everything, you know people like that. Maybe you are a person like that, but we've all at least known someone like that. It can be a sign that my research showed, and I'm not an expert, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a counselor, but I did do some reading up on this, and so I want you to know that if you're constantly feeling guilty, it can be a sign of depression or even other forms of, it can be a sign that you need some help. So I would recommend, if it's constantly there and you can't get rid of it, it might be time to seek help for that. Otherwise, you should be able to just shake it off and go, I'm just not going to allow this. And remember that it really is a choice. The thoughts we think are choices. I mean, some people find that surprising, but we're never taught how to think. Isn't that amazing? I don't know about you, but when I went to school, nobody taught me how to think. They taught me math. They taught me how to write. They didn't teach me how to think. Learning how to think is important. By that, I mean that we decide what thoughts we're going to allow in our mind and what thoughts we're not going to allow. You can train your mind this way through meditation, through journaling, through talking it out with someone. That's what coaches do. It's what we do, right? And so if you're feeling guilty, don't immediately go to the conclusion that you may have some deeper illness that, as I just mentioned. Instead, maybe you just need to take control of your own thoughts. If we repeatedly think about failures in our life, then we're going to repeatedly feel guilty, right? So what we think is a choice. It really is. It's just that we haven't practiced it, and so we actually feel like our minds are out of control. We can grab control of them. We really can with practice. It's one of my favorite things to help people with. Learning to decide what thoughts you're going to think, which ones you're going to allow in, and how to look at them. We do it through journaling. We do it through meditation. We do it through talking. We do it through sharing and asking good questions and having someone who knows how to listen to us. And we can learn how to think productive thoughts. But if we're not in control of our thinking, we can get stuck in a loop, a guilt loop, that creates this, I did that, I feel guilty. I did that, I feel guilty. I did that. Okay, yeah, already thought that thought. I've been there, done that. You have been thought. That's what we say to the thought. I've thought you, now you're done, goodbye. Right? I've done it. I know, I get it. It felt bad. I won't do that again. I'm done. I forgive myself. Move on. If you can't do that, and even find some humor in it, why not? We're all just human, right? Then it's possible that you need, that you might need more help with it. But think about it. Maybe it's just a matter of deciding what you're going to think and you're not going to think. Isn't that a freeing thought? I know I love it. I love when I found out that I could choose my thoughts. And when I found out, even more profound to me, was when I found out that random thoughts that pop into my head are not necessarily my thoughts. They're also not necessarily things I have to follow through on. Like a thought that I used to have every day. You need a drink. There, that was a thought I had all the time. And I thought, oh, you're right, I do. Until the day I started saying, no, I don't. I do not need a drink, nor am I going to have one. Anyway, off topic, but really, honestly, to control or to overcome excessive guilt, try just controlling your thoughts and see what happens. If that's not enough, do get some help. But remember that while guilt serves a bit of a purpose, we don't want to be going on and on and on in guilt. And just a reminder, shame serves no purpose. Zero. Okay? All right, sending you love, and so grateful for you coming on this little journey with me in the top 10 countdown. Tomorrow is day 4, and we're going to talk about impatience. There's one that doesn't come up much in terms of drinking and giving up alcohol. But it's important, and I found some interesting stuff about it that also surprised me. All of these surprised me when I dug deeper in them. So join me tomorrow for Impatience. Meanwhile, sending you tons of love. Thank you for joining me. Bye-bye. Hey, thanks for popping in. Remember, unshackling happens one day, one moment, one choice at a time. Do me a favor, subscribe, share, and shoot me some feedback. Chat soon.